I'm Cece Garrett, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Washington State, and I specialize in the treatment of individuals and families impacted by hoarding disorder. One of the things I like to do is I offer an Ask Me Anything platform where people can post questions, send them to me, and then I respond via a video message like this one. And so today I'm coming with a question from someone who found me and had this question. What do you do if you have a sibling that hoards to the point where they're afraid for others to visit their home? Where do you begin with the intervention? It's a great question. Uh, you know, if they're concerned about having others visit their home, that's the place to start, is to start with a conversation about what their concerns are. Get them talking about their concerns. That shows that they have some level of insight. The hard part here is to hear them and not to argue, not to say, well, we can fix that, not to rush to the fix. Um, Most of us want to help other people, and that's a great thing. But if they're not ready, that feels very off-putting. And if they have some readiness, but they're still in that pre-contemplation, so they're thinking about it, they think there might be a problem, but they're not sure they're ready to act yet, we need to honor that because we can shut it down and they're not going to let us or anyone else in, right? So what do we do there? Tell me about your concerns, right? So we just invite them to tell us about their concerns. Well, I don't want to tell you, they might say, because you're just going to tell me it's ridiculous, or you're just going to tell me you can come fix it, and I'm not ready for that. Oh, okay, okay. So how we might interact with that is, I hear you, I hear you. You're really concerned that my response is going to be trying to fix it, or maybe I might not even get it. Um, but you have concerns about other people coming in, whether that's because you're afraid that we might think badly of you or that it's unsafe. I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to understand your way. Now, this can be challenging in family relationships because we have history, sometimes with the hoarding behaviors. Sometimes, well, I got people in my family I'm not as fond of as others, right? So sometimes we need to consider, what is our relationship and are we the best person to have this conversation? And I know that's hard because sometimes people who are better fit for that conversation aren't interested. So what we need to do then is we need to work on being a safe person for this conversation, which means letting our views go for the sake of helping our sibling, our loved one, engage in their own self-talk for change. That's a key component of motivational interviewing, which is something professionals use. But that's really what you're doing here, is being a safe person to say, what are your concerns? I just want to hear you. I'm not going to, okay, tell me more, right? We're not coming up with an answer or a rebuttal. We're just going to collect that information. Where do you start the intervention? I think you start the intervention where they're willing to let you start. So maybe that's, hey, I know we had this conversation, you've shared your concerns. It's asking for permission to revisit a conversation. Can we talk about this more in a week? If they've agreed to let you come to the house, it's standing on the front porch with them until they're ready to let you come inside. When we're doing the intervention, we want to go slow and we want to start with big safety issues. Does the front door, any egress, open all the way, right? That's how they're living. But especially if you're going in to help, please make sure that we're protecting that safety health issue of having open egress. The other thing is if there's significant health and safety issues, that's a great place to start. But again, we don't want to do anything without their permission. Because here's the thing, I don't know who the person is who sent this message. But if I showed up at your house tonight and I started forcing myself to come in and telling you we were going to do these things and we were going to address certain things, almost all of us are going to get really upset about that. Now, I get you're saying, Cece, there's an issue. Absolutely. And at the same time, my experience has shown that when we lean into and respect the other person, we get way more done than when we try to force and go fast and make big efforts. Start with the main room, getting into that first living area, off in the living room, if that's where they're willing to let you go, and getting that to a place where there's a safe place to sit, there's a place for them to walk through easily. And that's a huge win. Getting them maybe a good path to the bed, making sure the bathroom's usable, making sure that the sink is usable in the kitchen for preparing food. We don't have to clear out a whole house to make positive impacts. And we look at things like molding food, rotting food, gross trash, right? If there's a lot of recycling, we can start there with their permission. We always want to do with, not for, even though that's frustrating because we see how much is there and not getting used already. We need to work with them, not for them, because that ends up really being against them. And so many of the people I work with have had many negative experiences with the condition of their home, how many things they own. And the best chance we have to really make a positive long-term impact is to go slow and to rebuild trust. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for your question. And if you're not the submitter, but you have a question, head on over to my site and send in your own question. Ask me anything. I'll respond with a short voicemail and video like this. Thanks again for the question.